What's up guys, I'm back with another video and today's video is going to be a very special one. I am going to be talking about is a very important aspect, a very important component of bodybuilding. It is a very important element of bodybuilding. Without this, the bodybuilding does not exist, and if you're missing out on this element, if you're missing this component of bodybuilding, then presumably you might not be the complete bodybuilder. You might just be a partial bodybuilder. You might be just being a half bodybuilder, let's say. So if you, if any of you guys, if you guys are fitness freaks, if you guys are fitness models or professional bodybuilders like IFBB, or let's say fitness models, fitness enthusiasts, fitness freaks, or maybe say amateur, let's say or compete on amateur categories, and if you're missing out these elements, then you might not be the complete bodybuilder, and there is something very important, that something very keen that you might be missing out. So what is this element, what is this category I'm talking about? It's none other than posing. So what is posing? Posing is flexing your muscles. What does flexing mean? Front double biceps, glutes, then you say abdominal to thighs, lat spread, front lat spread, rear lat spread. Then you say side chest pose. What are these? The posing enables you to identify the flaws in your physique. Any flaws. Let's say while I put a camera over here and I'm recording myself over here and I pose. So what's happening is I'm posing right now. Posing and showing my chest, showing my biceps, my triceps, flexing. So what flexing means is you're able to identify your muscle definition. Your muscle is how much of water is retained in your water. And these all are on the amateur Olympia stage. The judges judge the athletes by these factors mainly: muscle symmetry, muscle definition, muscle atrophy, muscular atrophy, sorry, uh, muscle depth, muscle thickness, the amount of body fat, how thick is your muscle, how lean are you, how much of water is retained in the body. So these are the components where the IFBB athletes, or the men's classic bodybuilding, men's physique bodybuilding, and the men's main category of bodybuilding, men's bodybuilding, uh, the championship, or let's say the event, on this basis the judges judge their athletes. Once again, I would like to reiterate: muscular atrophy, muscular symmetry, the muscle depth, muscle thickness, amount of body fat, the amount of muscle you hold possess currently in your physique. So namely six factors. The judges judge their athletes on namely six factors. So basically the judges ask their athletes to line up on the stage, and everyone, they pose in front of their judges. Let's say the front double biceps, abdominal to thighs, front lat spread, front, then we've got rear lat spread. One of the classic Arnold style classic bodybuilding poses. I personally idolize Arnold. The way he poses, he's one of the greatest inspirational icon in the bodybuilding history of all time. He's the GOAT. No wonder that Ronnie Coleman did capture the eight titles of body in the bodybuilding history, claimed with eight titles, followed by Jay Cutler, followed by Jay Green, Kai Green, and Dexter Jackson. So there are several other athletes, but primarily what I idolize is Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he was my idol. The amount of, I believe that the chest which he possessed, the amount of 58 inches chest, the upper pecs, I believe that no other athlete could ever possess that amount of huge chest in the history of bodybuilding. It is just eternal. It's just massive, enormous, gigantic, and no amount of athlete could possess that amount of size, especially into their chest. They might possess definition, they might possess thickness, the lower chest might be defined, but the size is what lacks in today's generation and today's youths when they try to compete uh, in their bodybuilding, especially the lower part of the chest, which the judges quite notice is the lower part of the chest precisely. The upper pecs are everyone has defined upper pecs, but the lower part of the chest is very much stubborn, and it's not just stubborn, but it's quite hard to train lower chest because you gotta hit it with different angles, with different variations, with different reps, with different intensity. You have to just keep pushing, test your limits. So as a result, the training your lower pecs and making really defined is itself a big potent challenge. Now, so let's talk about posing. So which pose which what are the poses different poses of bodybuilding? Now the current school of bodybuilding, as also called as a new school, not about I don't prefer the new school of bodybuilding, not because I I'm hated towards it, not just because I criticize it, but there is not much feeling imposed into it. There is not much feeling induced into it. What I meant to say is when you try to pose with the new school bodybuilding, when I try to pose, let's say when I get up right now and when you pose like this, right? It's just a small gesture, guys. So when you try to pose, you don't get that feeling. You don't feel your muscles when try to pose with the new bodybuilding poses, new bodybuilding poses. But when you try to pose with the old school, I reminisce the Arnold school bodybuilding poses. The front double biceps, the front lat spread, abdominal to thighs, the vacuum pose, the rear lat spread. It is just, what you can say, mesmerizing, intrigued, emasculant, out of the world, out of the blue, spectacular. I'm just out of words right now, technically speaking. So the old school bodybuilding is what I'm big fan of. The old school bodybuilding, and I'll always be a big fan of old school bodybuilding. No doubt that the new school, they've just tried to invent all their poses into it, like the Zeus pose, and I don't like all these poses technically, honestly speaking, sorry. uh it's just that I don't feel my muscles when I try to pose with the new school. When I try to pose with the old school, I just feel a lot of thickness in the muscles. I can identify my flaws in my physique. I can identify where I need to work harder, and how much I need to work harder to attain my desirable goals, right? So 90% of dudes in today's context, they always pose with the new school. They do use their old school a lot of techniques. I've seen a lot of dudes on social media, on YouTube. They do use a lot of uh, old school is do induce into it, but they typically use the new school bodybuilding poses like the zoo style and uh, reaches the stars and all those stuff, which I don't I'm not criticizing. I'm not offending. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm not trying to portray as a glimpse that I don't prefer the new school of bodybuilding. It's just that I don't feel it. It's not my type. I don't pose it that way. So the old school bodybuilding is just phenomenal, guys. I think the new generation, they do include all the Arnold style classic bodybuilding poses. Like we have seen Chris Bumstead, he himself has induced the classic bodybuilding poses of Arnold. Let's say the uh, the side chest, the front lat spread, the vacuum. the leg definition. We've all seen that. So Arnold style classic bodybuilding is still being induced today, is still being imposed today. In fact, Arnold Classic is a championship, is a event which is named after the all-time great Arnold Schwarzenegger. So Arnold Classic is where many athletes compete in classic categories, men's physique category, and bodybuilding categories. So there are namely three categories where the athletes are posed according to their weight classes and their height classes. So let's say 5'11", all 5'11" athletes are placed together in one line. If an athlete is shorter, he will not be placed in that class. So all 5'11" classes, 5'11" athletes are placed in one group. Let's say I'm myself was 5'11", so all they will be placed in a single division, and thereby the weight class also might be around 88 kgs to 90 kgs, maybe even exceeding above 90 kgs. So let's say if you have also 6 foot, so 6 foot one, so all 6 foot one athletes will be placed together, and accordingly the judges will judge them according to their muscle, those six factors which I had mentioned previously. So there is weight division, there is weight class, as well as there is height division. So height and weight plays a very significant factor in men's physique, men's bodybuilding, and the men's classic bodybuilding physique. Classic bodybuilding is usually the athletes weigh they carry a more muscle mass as compared to men's physique. Men's physique is all about shoulder to waist ratio, uh, muscular thickness, muscular depth, muscular atrophy, symmetry, your shoulders, your abdomen, your rectus abdominis, and legs are obviously covered, so legs are probably excluded. Whereas the classic bodybuilding, as we all know, Chris Bumstead, the legendary of all time, of current generation, speaking technically. So classic bodybuilding is where you pose like Arnold. You show your legs also. You show leg definition. You show your muscle thickness, muscular atrophy, muscle depth, water retention. Then we say vascularity, vacuum, abdomen. Your back definition matters the most significantly, and several other classes. And so in bodybuilding, men's bodybuilding category, irrespective of the height, men's classic bodybuilding, height doesn't matter. The only category where height matters is men's physique, where athletes are placed according to their height and weight classes. Whereas in men's classic bodybuilding, the height and weight is totally irrelevant. So irrespective of your height, let's say Chris Bumstead was around 6 feet 2. He weighed around almost 88 to 90 kgs probably. So that is a desirable weight. He typically weighed in the same weight class. So there were athletes who were like around a bit 1, 2, 3 inches shorter than him, like we have seen his competitors, like Ramon. Ramon was around 5'10 to 5'11, 5'10, 5'10 like actually. So he was a bit shorter than him. So irrespective of that, he did come in a second place, third place actually, not second. Chris Bumstead taking the title. Second one was I forgot his name. The third one was Ramon, and obviously the fourth one was no one actually. Yeah. So that's it, guys, for today. Make sure you post before workout. Make sure you post after workout. Identify the flaws. Identify where you are lagging. Identify where you need thickness. Identify where you need size. Just keep on posing in front of the phone. Record it. Notice it. Work more harder. Strive more harder. And make your ass burn more harder. Till then, I will see you in the next video, guys. Till then, peace out. Don't forget to like the video, comment, share, subscribe. Till then, peace out.